Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
Namaste. Welcome to this broadcast today at 5 p.m. And I'm going to give you just a short introduction to the various Sufi sects as they exist in the Indian subcontinent today. And mainly they are Sunni sects. Of course, there are a few Shia sects also. But the main sects, as they are called in the Sufis, they're called Tariqas. Tariqa means the way. So Tariqa, and the subsects are called Silsilas. So whenever you hear these terms, basically Tariqa and the Silsila. Talking about this Sunni Sufi sects, there are four main Sufi Tariqas in the Indian subcontinent. And there is one lesser known, but that is mainly in Kashmir. It doesn't exist much in the rest of the subcontinent. Which are these four? The four are, let me tell you straight short, that there are the Chishtis, the Qadris. They are also called in Urdu or Arabic, they're called Chishtiya, Qadriya, Suhrawardis, that is Suhrawardiya, and the fourth one, of course, is Naqshbandi. It is called Naqshbandiya. The common refrain of all these are that most of the Sufi sects, almost all Sufi sects, they trace their lineage from Hazrat Ali. Naqshbandi is an exception. Naqshbandi traces its lineage from Hazrat Umar. That is the second caliph of the Sunnis. And Qadris, the famous Qadris you would know, Qadris, Bulle Shah. The Qadris also, of course, you'll know, most of the Qadris are either what is called Sarwaris or they are called Razviyas. Who the famous Razviya? The most famous Razviya is the founder of the Barelvi sect, that is Sheikh Ahmad Raza Barelvi. You must understand also the difference between Sheikh and Sayyid. The Sufis are mostly Sayyids, some of them are Sheikhs. So which are the Sayyids? Sayyids are those who trace their lineage through Ali to the Prophet Muhammad himself, because Ali was a cousin of Prophet Muhammad. And Sheikh is the Naqshbandis. That doesn't trace its lineage directly to the Prophet and traces to Hazrat Umar. So that is the Naqshbandis. Now, Qadris, I told you. Then Chishtis, of course, you must have heard about them. Moinuddin Chishti, the Nizamuddin Awliya. They have also two branches. That is the Nizami branch and the Sabri branch. But you must have heard about the Sabri brothers, the great Qawwals. All come from the Sabri Silsila of the Chishti Tariqa. So Qadris, then Chishtis. The greatest killings by Qadris are the famous Mopala riots. Then by the Qadris also, the Manki Sharif of Northwest Frontier and all the riots that, all the massacres that took place in the Northwest Frontier and also in the areas of Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir adjoining Pakistan. Those are mostly Qadris. Then we come to the next one, that is the Suhrawardis. Suhrawardis, of course, are famous for the great Calcutta killings, other than their other tariqas and the silsilas that they have. Then we have what is called You got the Qadris, the Chishtis, the Suravardis, and we have the Naqshbandis. Now, Naqshbandi is actually the most important now. Why Naqshbandi is most important is because their greatest saint, that is known as the what is called Mujaddid al-Fasani, or the great renewer of the faith, Sheikh Ahmad Sarhindi. So Sheikh Ahmad Sarhindi is probably now the most famous Sufi. And Ahmad Sarhindi, he comes from the lineage of Sheikh Baqi Billah. And then all the lineage goes down. The Aurangzeb became a Naqshbandi, and after Aurangzeb followed Naqshbandi. How? Because Sheikh Masoom, the son of Sheikh Ahmad Sarhindi, was actually the peer of Aurangzeb. You know, the peer and murid in Sufism, this peer and murid relationship is very important. Peer is you can understand it, roughly as a guru shishya kind of a thing. And there is, of course, great racism involved here, because all the peers, they think of themselves as direct Arab blood, and they only make their top murids and the what is called the Sajjada Nashin. Sajjada Nashin is the chief of the Silsila. So the chief of the Silsila usually, almost always, is only a true Sayyid or a Sheikh. True Sayyid or a Sheikh means an Arab race. So they preserve the purity of the Arab race, and all the major shrines, they also add Sharif before their name. Sharif, the plural is Ashraf. So Sharif means that they belong to the topmost caste. That is the Sayyid or a Sheikh. All these Sharif, whenever you see Ajmer Sharif or Manki Sharif or Khwaja Sharif or whatever, that means they're celebrating their Arab ancestry. You must understand that. Then these Naqshbandis are basically now Ahmad Sarhindi's is called Mujaddidi. He was known as Mujaddid, that is the renewer, the great renewer of the faith. So the followers of Ahmad Sarindi are all called Mujaddidis. The other silsilas of the Naqshbandi Tariqa are the Ulayla. And there's also this Owaisi silsila, which is sometimes thought to be heretical, because it doesn't follow strictly the Pir Murid kind of tradition. And the Owaisis are those who do Uwais. Uwais means, direct connection with a peer. And that doesn't have to be a physical connection. It is some kind of a spiritual connection that they dream up. So Asaduddin Owaisi basically belongs to this Owaisi silsila of the Naqshbandis. And Naqshbandis are the most conservative of all of them. Of course, all of them are conservative in that sense, because the founding myth of Sufism, that is, it is peaceful. It is only as peaceful as the Shariat, because you must understand the two fundamental principles. And the two fundamental principle is that Shariat is above Tariqat. There is no separation between Shariat and Tariqat. There were some Sufis in the beginning, that is a long time back, and you might have heard of some people like Mansur Hallaj and all that. But they were all killed off, and ultimately by the 11th, between the 11th and 13th century, Tariqat became completely subordinated to Shariat. And the second thing is that they say that Tasawwuf, Sufism, basically the name is Tasawwuf. So Tasawwuf is considered to be what is called closeness to Allah, or Ihsan. But then Ihsan is number 3 in the order of what is called Iman, that is faith, and Deen, that is the religion. Iman is basically the loyalty expressed towards Tawheed, or the oneness of Allah, that is called Iman. So that is topmost. And second is Deen. Deen is the religion and the religion of Islam. And the third only is Ihsan. So Ihsan is again subordinated to Deen and Iman. So on one hand, this is this situation, and the other is that Tariqat is always subordinate to Shariat. That is why all Sufis, they listen to their respective ulema or the ulama. You must understand what is ulema. Ulama, that is the singular of a great scholar is alim. The plural is ulema. And of course, in Urdu, you have the situation of a plural of the plural. So the plural of the plural is ulama. So alim, ulema, ulama. Then, again, I explained to you Shariat, Tariqat, and Tariqat is below Shariat. Therefore, if somebody tells you that, okay, Sufism is something different from Islam, just ask him this question. Ask him this question whether Tariqat is different from Shariat or Tariqat is above Shariat. Only if he says yes, then only you can accept his contention that Sufism can be peaceful or in the sense different from Shariat, because Shariat is completely violent. You must understand that. These Naqshbandis, of course, they wrote the Fatawa Alamgiri, which is basically the Muhammadan law in India. Everybody in India, every Sunni in India follows the Fatawa Alamgiri. Then the great practitioners, after it was composed, or rather it was written down. It was the chief was a person called Nizam Burhanpuri. His deputy was Shah Abdul Rahim. Shah Abdul Rahim's son was Shah Waliullah, the great traitor, who invited the Afghan Ahmad Shah Abdali to invade India in order to restore Islam or make India as Darul Islam again. Then Shah Waliullah's son was Shah Abdul Aziz. Then Shah Abdul Aziz, of course, he was the peer of Sayyid Ahmad Barilwi and Shah Ismail Shahid, the two great Sufis who combined Sufism and Mujahidism among them. They were warriors and scholars and Sufis all rolled into one. Then the present distinction between Devband and Barelvis. Barelvi is basically Sufi Federation that follows the non-Naqshbandi philosophy, and the Naqshbandi philosophy is followed by the Devbandis. This is a very short introduction to all the Sufi terminology, the Sufi sects. There is also one more, that is Kubrawi, that was present in Kashmir. And there was a Shia Tariqa, Nur Bakhshi, that is present in some parts of the Kashmir Valley and the entire Gilgit-Baltistan. Those are the Nur Bakhshiya Shia. So that's all. Thank you very much. Namaste, Vande Mataram. I hope you understood your Sufis.
Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another